Well, hello, pretties. How are you today? I have something kind of exciting for you today. Hopefully, you find it as exciting as I do, and don't find the auxiliary sounds of my driving around for hours in the vehicle distracting, because I have something not distracting or relaxing for you to do today. So, the last night that we had boy child, we had him by himself because of scouts, and girl child was at their other mom's house. So, a little bit of extra attention towards boy child, and that makes him a happy camper. So, while I was tucking him into bed that night, he was asking me about dreams, which I think is absolutely adorable, and not sure if that is normal for 10-year-olds, but I thought it was fantastic. So first he was talking to me about how he has this recurring dream that he's had several times, where he and conspiracy mystic's middle son, and girl child are in these jet pack suits, and they're flying around. And he asked me, why is it in dreams that sometimes you can see clearly and sometimes you cannot? And so I couldn't answer that for him because I have no idea. But oh good, here's an ambulance. We'll pause for a second here. Anyway, so I couldn't answer that for him, but I did explain to him that some people believe that your dreams are an alternate reality, and that you can connect with other people in dreams, and perhaps the other kids were also having similar dreams about flying, and maybe they were meeting up and hanging out. And then I went on to talk about how soulmates, what soulmates are, and that my definition is that anyone who reincarnates together in groups, like souls reincarnate together in groups, and then as they are alive, they find each other. And I think it's awfully convenient because I was able to find Conspiracy Mystic. We live hundreds of miles apart. She lives in Ohio and I live in Colorado. And that is a 2-day drive, I suppose, and 2.5 days, maybe 2 days. And we were able to find each other on the internet, and we instantly clicked, and now we're BFFs. And one spring, she and her family drove out to Colorado to meet us and to stay with us, and that was so awesome. And even though distance separates us, we are still extraordinarily close. And even when we don't have time to chat online, we talk on the phone. And so it was very cool to hear boy child say that he's having these reoccurring dreams with her son and girl child. It's very cool. So anyway, we were talking about souls that reincarnate together, and I always have to preface those conversations with him about, well, the Christians don't generally believe in reincarnation. So he responds with, yeah, so I won't talk about it at school. And which is exactly what I would have told him had he not already recognized that. However, when discussing this with Conspiracy Mystic, she pointed out several Bible verses that talked about reincarnation, and how even Jesus had pointed out that John the Baptist was Elijah reincarnate, which I thought was interesting, and I had never learned that. Of course, most of my biblical knowledge is directly related to the Lutheran education that I got. So, being that Lutherans don't believe in reincarnation, generally speaking, I didn't pick up on those pieces. And so I'll have to look into that a little more, just so that I know what verses they are and can reference them for y'all. Anywho, boy child was asking me then, so how do we know what it is that we were before we were born into this life? Which was quite an astute question for, I think, a 10-year-old who knows little to nothing about reincarnation, though he claims that's what he believes, and I thought that was kind of cool. And I said, well, you can go into a meditative state and you can meet your past selves. And he was terribly intrigued and wanted to know, well, what do you mean? So briefly, I told him, and I wish that I had time to walk you through the meditation. Looks like I'm making better time on the road than I had expected. So maybe next time I'll walk you through that meditation. But as for now, if you want to attempt it yourself, what I have always done is I will get into a meditative state and breathe very deeply and become calm and clear my mind of everything. Feel kind of like I'm floating on a cloud. All of the strains and stresses fall away and you become very focused. And what I do is I imagine myself in a meadow in the mountains, in the beautiful Colorado mountains, and I will wander around the mountains until I find a house. And I'll pay attention to this house, and I'll note what the door looks like and what the doorknob looks like and what windows are visible from the front and what kind of plants are growing around it. And then when I'm ready, I go up to the door and I open it, and then I go through the house and I really search through the rooms and find that every room holds a different facet of myself. And so I spend a long time really observing what trinkets and pictures and furniture and things like that I find in there. And after I'm done searching, and it doesn't mean that I have to search all of the rooms, just enough to satiate my need for knowledge of self, then I will find the cellar. And when I go down the steps on the cellar, I will walk very slowly, and at the bottom of the steps in the cellar will be my past selves, my past manifestations of self, and I can meet with them and talk with them as long as I wish. Unfortunately, most of the time when I do this, by the time I get down to the cellar, I'm asleep. And when I wake up, so to speak, I can't remember much of what I've learned and discovered. However, that has not stopped me from trying again and again and again. I believe that boy child has probably tried this once or twice since I taught him about it, and I'm curious to know what he says. But seeing as he's at his other mom's this week, I'm going to have to wait until he returns. But it was one of the first things that he's ever said or discussed with me that has indicated to me that he perhaps may be crystal or indigo. And I think that's really neat. For the longest time, I didn't believe that they had that. And then in discussing it with Conspiracy Mystic, she said that it's, from her observation, that kids are sometimes slow to awake or awaken. And while for me, I had a very different experience growing up, and I feel like I was awake from the minute I was born. Of course, that may be my ego talking, and that's something to consider. But maybe not. Maybe kids just awaken at different ages, given their circumstances and the scenarios they've found themselves in, but I was thrilled because I want these children to be awake and enlightened and aware, and I've been trying to drive that home for so long that it's a beautiful thing when it peeks its little head out for me to see and observe and applaud. So there is the something exciting for you. I am curious to know if any of you will try it, and if so, I would love to hear your stories. Feel free to tell them to me in the comments, or you can email me privately. My email address is absurdgrace@gmail.com. So have fun, enjoy, bring stories back, don't fall asleep and forget them like I do, and tell me what you discover. And many blessings to you all. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.